You gonna let me burn up that towel?
Hey, Julia, right back there. We're on. Call to order the Avon Town Council meeting for January 26, 2023. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Wrong side. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You go face out towards people.
All right, first item on the agenda, consent agenda to include the check register, work session, meeting minutes for January 12th, meeting minutes. Oh, thank you, Greg. I'm jumping ahead. The flag screwed me up. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
I can't. I apologize for the flag. We had a meeting in here and it all got moved around. So I know. Apologize for
Good.
the
Blame
flag.
is on you on the record now. Awesome.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
Roll call is Greg Zuzen,
Present.
Don Loudon,
Present.
Robert Pope,
Present.
Steve Eisenbarth,
Present.
Tim Roberts.
Present.
Now move on to the consent agenda. Check register, January 26th, work session, meeting minutes for January 12th, and approval of meeting minutes as well. Any questions? If not, entertain a motion. Apologies, add the Economic Development Commission annual report in there as well. Forgive me.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope.
4. Next item, first of 2 public comment opportunities. You may comment on items on the agenda that are not a public hearing. If you would, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one come forward, we'll close that section of public comment, move on to council comment liaison reports. Ms.
Nothing to
Loudon?
report.
Nothing? Mr. Roberts?
Nothing to report this week.
Mr. Zuzen?
Attended the economic development meeting on the 17th where we're going to talk tonight, or we just approved the annual report. Attended a meeting with Chicago Industrial with Robert and Ryan and John Taylor. Went to the Ziggy's ribbon cutting on the 19th. Went to Leadership Hendricks County annual meeting on the 19th. Was part of a Zoom call with the different chambers regarding legislative updates. And we had a plat rezoning approval. That's all I have.
Mr. Eisenberg?
I did attend the Leadership Hendricks County on the 19th. Also, last Tuesday, the Hendricks County Recycling District Board met, and we had a number of things that were just pretty interesting. In Avon, coming up here on February 6th through the 10th, the schools are going to be collecting, and this is Middle School North and White Oak, be collecting for the Heart and Soul program, a shoe recycling. There's like 100,000 pairs of shoes that get contributed for this. It's an extremely valuable program to reach out and help many people. So just want to encourage anyone listening that February 6th to the 10th, Avon Schools, Middle School North, and White Oak, consider your donations there would be great. Other thing, the discussion about the recycling or the waste management and the switchover raise that came into play. What the recycling district's doing is they're reaching out to Green Cycle to fill the gap for recycling part of it for where raise and waste management. So that was kind of a neat thing to have there too, that they had that. Other than that, I know Ryan's going to be working on the community grants drive for Avon that for the recycling district, so we can present something there. I also met with the Youth Assistance Program in Plainfield reviewed their annual report. And I've talked with several council members, and Greg, I haven't got a chance to get with you or Tim, but I strongly support this program. I think it's great. What has to happen, though, what it is, it's an intervention program to help at-risk youth to stay out of the justice system. And the school district, Avon School Police Department needs to be on board. Scott Wyndham needs to be on board and some others. And those discussions are being had. It's an excellent program. I can review the information with anyone here afterwards if you like, but that's all I have.
Thanks, Steve. The chamber board meeting last week, they continued discussing their options for the Hendricks County Rib Fest, as well as some new and upgraded memberships this year. Greg mentioned the meeting with Chicago Industrial. Still lots to do ahead, but I think it's something to be excited for. You should be looking forward to that very much. It was nice seeing some familiar faces there at LHC's Celebration of Leaders. Congratulations to Julie Randall for being Hendricks County's Leader of the Year. Great job to Public Works, our Parks Department, and Fox Contractors for another successful snow removal event. Unfortunately, the season isn't over yet, but I'm crossing my fingers. And last thing, amazing job to our detectives. 4 violent suspects scattered throughout central Indiana, arrested without an incident in less than a week. Just fantastic job. That's it for me. Moving on. First new item of new business, authorization to purchase in-car video systems and radios.
Thank you. Brian Nugent, Deputy Chief of Investigations. Just have a couple of items here need council approval of. We had a little bit of revenue left over from 2022. I went through the process of working with Brian Cannon, Julie Loker, through the end of the year fiscal reports. As a result of that, we encumbered approximately $37,000 from our budget lines under expensed. And so we have rounded out the books, if you would, for 2022. According to Julie, we had some revenue that we looked to apply for some major purchases going into 2023. You have 2 documents there in front of you. One is for a quote in the amount of $14,314.40. That specifically is for 2 in-car video systems, high resolution, as well as 4K resolution body cams for 2 new officers. If you recall, in your 23 budget, you included increasing our staffing by 2 uniformed officers. In addition to that, you have a second quote in the amount of $12,476.64. That is for the 2 emergency radios that they're required to have, and all the specs are outlined as they should be by the Hendricks County Communications Center. Because both of these amounts are in excess of $10,000, exceeds the authority of our town manager. $5,000 exceeds the authority of our chief of police. So we're just requesting council approval for both of these items, which will be funded from the POs from 2022, and it will not impact our 2023 operational budget. Happy to answer any questions.
Do we have the vehicles for this equipment to go into already, or is this part of the ones that we've got ordered, we haven't gotten in yet?
Are the ones that we've ordered don't have in yet. We did, if you recall, we did place an order for 7 vehicles in May of 2022. I just received word, I believe it was on Tuesday evening, that 2 of those have been manufactured by General Motors and are en route to the dealership in Fort Wayne. We're still waiting on the other 5 for their arrival and their production, for that matter.
Any other questions for Brian? If not, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve quote number 1977597 for $14,310.40 for the first equipment quote for the police department.
I'll second that.
Do we need these individually, the quotes separate, put them together? Okay. Do you want to make your motion to include all 3? Do you want to do them
Make
separate?
my motion include all 3.
Okay.
And I'll amend that and say, yes, I also agree.
All 3 or all 2?
Well, I was going to
Pardon me.
Yeah,
I've
clarify.
got
it's
3
2.
tabs. Pardon me.
Yeah, there's
Both quotes.
both quotes.
Yes, sir.
3 items and 2 quotes.
Yes. We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Don Loudon.
4.
Thank you very much.
One other thing that if we could do, Brian mentioned the authority of Ryan and Sean. We should look at maybe increasing that authority. Put that on our strategic agenda, at our work session.
Plan on talking with him Tuesday about adding that to a work session. I agree. Next item on the agenda, awarding bid for street sweeping, for 2023 through 2025. Ryan, are you speaking to this or? Keaton, all right.
Good evening. I'm supposed to, okay, yeah, I'm Keaton Olson. I'm the asset manager with the Public Works Department. And our 3-year contract expired as of the beginning of the year. So we asked for quotes, and our lowest quote was from Toller Street Sweeping for $35,000 per sweep, $210,000 for the full 3-year cycles.
Is Toller's street sweeping someone that we've done business with in the past?
So he was the lead driver for his father's company, who we had sweep for us for 10 years. So he personally used to do that, but now he has his own company.
And I see the budget, you've got 75,000 in here, it looks like. Is that right? That,
Yes, so 2 full sweeps will be 70,000 with them. So the price really hasn't changed very much from the prior contract.
okay.
Any further questions? If not, would anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the staff's recommendation to have Toller Street Sweeping do our 6 cycles this year in an amount not to exceed $210,000.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Don Loudon,
Or
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
Thanks, Keaton.
Thank you.
Keaton.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Next item on the agenda, accept and annex yours.
Yeah, cover this one. I had given you all a heads up at the previous council meeting that we had received this one. It just didn't have time to get on the town council agenda. So this is the Sutton property. It is part of the Oxford Park annexation that the town council conducted the public hearing on 2 weeks ago. And it is for a tax abatement as well. Happy to answer any questions.
Agricultural tax abatement.
Agricultural tax abatement, that's correct. Thank you, Greg.
Straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
We've done this one a couple times now. No further questions? Anyone make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the voluntary annexation to agriculture as to Carol Sutton as presented.
I'll second. Got a first and a second. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please? Roll call vote, please.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Don Loudon.
Or
Next item on the agenda, subrecipient agreement with the IMPO. Mr. Taylor, good
Good
news.
evening, everyone. The subrecipient agreement is about 18 pages. I asked Mr. Taylor tonight if he has seen this. He said not only has he seen this, he has, you say 20 of them? That he's gone over 20 of them and that he has no problem with this. This is what the IMPO will have us fill out and sign to receive our $877,726 for the public infrastructure part of Easton Gray. This is the READY grant that we applied for. And at your board meeting tomorrow, finally going to say the town of Avon, they're going to approve it. If you vote against it, I'm going to come back and kill you. And you can put that in the minutes. So this is just the subrecipient agreement that we need to have approved. It's from the IMPO.
I know this was a long, painful process, John, so I appreciate staying on top of it.
It's been short and easy. I mean, we've only,
It was supposed to be.
We can tell you take it very well.
17 months. I mean, 17 months for 800 grand, I'd do that any day.
That's fair, but still, it was, appreciate the work that you put on it. Any questions?
I'm assuming someone's going to fill in the blanks for us.
This gentleman will fill in the blanks.
Yeah, and the MPO will fill it out. That's just an example of the agreement. So they'll actually plug in all the accurate information and then write it. But this way it's just approved by you guys and then we'll sign it.
After they approve tomorrow, then they will fill this out next week and send it back to us.
And all the liability things are probably current. They're all up to date and all that. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the MPO subrecipient agreement as presented.
I second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Tim Roberts.
4.
There you go. Mr. Taylor, thank you. Next item, the public hearing and resolution for 2023-01, confirmatory resolution for radial tax abatement.
Confirmatory
Samira, speak to it.
resolution. This is a company that's renting the first 600,000 square feet of the 880,000 square foot building on 100 South at the Chicago Industrial Built. We negotiated 50% for 5 years. And we did that based on some of the wages aren't really high, so we didn't offer anything big on it. You're going to find over the next couple of years, as we get companies in all these big buildings, they will all come in asking for an abatement on personal property.
Any questions?
50% per year seems reasonable.
I need to open up a public hearing before we do a motion. I will open up the public hearing at this time at 7:17. If anyone would like to speak on this matter, please come forward, state your name, address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one rush the mic, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any questions from council or staff? Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr.
could
Dan
you,
Taylor?
yes, John, could you clarify something for me? Under the section 3 of the SB1, the applicant says that they,
$36,000.
pardon me,
So the $36,000.
that 36,000 per employee per year?
What we need to do is we're going to get with the company and get their total payroll. That's what's supposed to be there. But we just want to get this approved and we'll plug that number in.
Yeah, I think that the council should assume 30,000 a year per employee per year. A year from now, when you come back, if you grant this, you can say, look, you're not generating the salaries you anticipate. I don't want them to say, well, we generated more than 36,000. That number is supposed to be the grossed up number. It's no big deal as long as we all understand what this means. And they can amend it anytime they want. But if you're going to really hold them to this, I just think we should note for the record that what was represented to us was an average salary of 36,000 per year per employee.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, it's a
I think
good-
that's something that we've discussed. That we like have make
Back.
correct.
On the third page of the application has all the wages of all the individual job posted.
$2,376,000. I think the other thing to point out too, they could have asked for up to a 10-year abatement.
Yeah. Well, that's for 5.
And so 5 is good and 50% is good too, so.
Sounds like you're in support. Would you entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-01, a confirmatory resolution of the Avon Town Council for the designation of an economic revitalization area and approval of personal property tax abatement application as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Robert Pope.
4.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
John.
Next item on the agenda, legal account report.
Yes, I want to report to you that we've started doing training for your boards, commissions, and councils. And so you may hear about that. Greg set through Plan Commission. We'll set through some Plan Commission training next month. But it's, we think, one of the more valuable things that we do in terms of avoiding liability. And speaking of that, your insurance carrier has settled the case that Mr. Gamble filed. And I've shared with you the confidential agreement and release. And it would be my recommendation that you approve this settlement as is contemplated, so that our insurance carrier can close that matter.
I agree. And do you need a motion then? I would like to make a motion if so. I'd like to make a motion that we settle as presented.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Julie, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Tim Roberts,
4.
Don Loudon.
4.
Next item on the agenda, second of 2 public comment opportunities. If you would like to speak, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one rush once again, we'll close that section of public comment. Any second opportunity for council comment?
No.
Stay dry, stay warm. Council calendar.
Enjoy your weekend off this weekend. Just a quick reminder that we are having our strategic work session on February 4th, which is a week from Saturday, 9 a.m. in this room. Congratulations. I know you guys are looking forward to seeing me on a Saturday. And then also your next meeting is February 9th. We have a work session with a packed agenda on February 9th at 5:30. So be prepared, ready to go with some exciting topics. And then we have our council meeting on February 9th at 7 p.m.
And you did say 9 a.m. on the 4th.
9 a.m. on the 4th. That's correct.
I tried 6. They didn't want it.
Meeting adjourned.